There is a name that appears everywhere. On every page, in every textbook, in every branch of mathematics that has ever existed. You have seen his symbols even if you do not know his name. The letter E, the function notation f of x, the symbol for summation, the symbol for pi as a number, the imaginary unit t. He invented all of them. Every mathematician alive writes in a language this man created. He went blind, both eyes, total darkness. And then he produced more mathematics than he had produced with his sight. His output did not slow down, it doubled. Take a calculator, any phone, any circuit board humming beneath your fingertips. You'll find Euler there, the letter E, the symbol pi, the function f of x, the summation sign, the imaginary unit I. They're not just decorations, they are the bones of the machine. Every time you press a button for sine, for exponential, for log, you're moving through a language this one man gave us. Python, C, Java, they all have Euler's constants hardwired into their code. Engineers scribble pi and I on circuit diagrams in a dozen languages. Now here's the part that should make you stop. Euler went blind, not just a little total darkness. And yet the mathematical world did not lose him. The world got more. He produced, after losing his sight, almost half of his entire life's work. 400 papers dictated in the dark while others would have stopped. I need you to understand what that means. The symbols you see on the screen, the ones that run the world's math and technology, were not the product of a man working with pen and paper, but of a mind that could see mathematics without eyes. That is the paradox. Euler's vision, in the deepest sense, had nothing to do with sight at all. Basel. You picture a quiet town, but in 1707, something thunderous arrived. Leonhard Euler. His father was a pastor, a serious man who wanted his son to follow him into the church. But the real spark came from a friend of the family, Johann Bernoulli. Now, Bernoulli was no ordinary mathematician. He was a legend, the kind of mind you measure other minds against. And he saw something in the boy that almost nobody else could see. At 13, Euler was already sitting in university lectures, absorbing calculus before most children had finished their Latin grammar. By 16, he'd completed a master's degree. That's not just early, that's off the charts. Bernoulli called him a miracle of the mind. Imagine that. A boy not yet grown solving problems that had stumped the best mathematicians in Europe. Bernoulli didn't just teach Euler mathematics, he opened a door. He showed him the machinery behind the world. And Euler, with that bottomless curiosity, walked right through. You don't get a mind like that by accident. You get it when genius meets the right teacher at exactly the right moment. In 1727, a 20-year-old Swiss mathematician arrived at the Imperial Academy in St. Petersburg, carrying only a letter from Johann Bernoulli. Within months, Euler was solving problems in mechanics, astronomy, and the foundations of fluid dynamics. By 27, he published his first major treatise, Methodus Inveniendi Lineas Curvas, breaking new ground in the calculus of variations. He charted lunar orbits, created navigation tables, and reimagined the mathematics of light and sound. In 1736, Euler transformed the tangled streets of Königsberg into pure logic, inventing graph theory. Soon after, he wrote the formula 5 minus e plus f equals 2, revealing the structure of polyhedra and launching topology. All this before 35. Euler didn't just solve problems, he redrew the map of mathematics, moving from one frontier to the next without pause. Now picture the mind that could write e to the IPI plus 1 equals 0. Euler's identity, the most beautiful equation in mathematics, and he gave it to us in 1748, the same man who would soon be forced to do all his mathematics in darkness. It started with his right eye. In 1738, a cataract, a failed operation, and the world became a blur. He kept working anyway. Then in 1766, total blindness, not a shadow left. The doctors couldn't help. Euler, sitting at his desk, realized the last light was gone. He didn't stop. He called for a secretary. He began to dictate immediately, relentlessly. The man who had just written the formula that ties together the deepest constants of the universe now faced a universe without sight. And yet the mathematics kept coming. Now imagine this. Euler in absolute darkness, dictating mathematics at a pace nobody else could match. 6 hours a day, sometimes more, pouring out theorem after theorem. Not just in one field, he was solving problems in mechanics, number theory, astronomy, fluid dynamics, even music theory. 400 papers, all after he lost his sight, 400. Picture that mountain of work. And his mind, it never stumbled. There's a story. 2 students argued over the 50th decimal of a long calculation. Euler listened, nodded, and gave them the answer from memory. Another time, someone asked him, "What is 2 to the 10th?" Euler replied, without missing a beat, 1024. No paper, no chalk, no hesitation. That's not just memory. That's a mind running mathematics like a living engine, dictating faster than most people can write, all in total darkness. You have to let that sink in. Euler didn't just survive blindness, he unleashed a storm of discovery no one has matched since. Picture the scale of what Euler left behind. 90 volumes, opera omnia. That's not a bookshelf, that's a library, and it's all one man's mind poured out on paper. They're still editing, still printing, still finding new pages. When he died, the presses kept rolling for 50 years, turning his dictations and notes into the backbone of mathematics. It's not just the size, it's the reach. Euler's symbols run through quantum field theory, through the equations that power lasers and satellites, through the code that runs your phone. On Euler's last day, he calculated the orbit of Uranus, spoke the words, "I am dying," and was gone. Condorcet said, Euler ceased to calculate and to live. That's how tightly his life and mathematics were bound. He didn't just write mathematics, he became its language. And the world has never stopped reading. I need you to understand. Euler didn't just write mathematics, he became mathematics. Even in darkness, he saw the infinite. Today, every equation whispers his name. What mind could do more?